Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. Look, today I wanted to talk to you about going from 90 to 100%. It is a huge, huge benefit to move that little ways, right? The VA doesn't make it easy. I'm going to talk about it here. But before I do, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. It really helps out the channel. And if you're not a member, consider it. That's an additional way to help the channel. You should see a little join button thing somewhere. So moving from 90 to 100%, look, if you're at 90, veteran alone, it's $2,172 per month. If you swing that to 100%, it's $3,621 per month. Now, if you're married, have a spouse, it's $2,353 at 90%. If you swing that to 100%, it's $3,823. So you're looking at an almost $1,500 increase moving that next step. Not to mention all of the other benefits that come. Once you move to permanent in total at 100%, then Champ VA opens up. That's that health insurance kind of supplement for your spouse and dependents, as well as Chapter 35, which is it's one of my favorite benefits. It's an educational stipend, does not pay tuition. It pays the spouse or the dependent of the veteran while they're going to school. The full-time rate on that is $1,401. So now, if you're looking at $1,401 and about $1,500, that's $2,900 extra per month into your household if you have yourself and a spouse who is utilizing the Chapter 35 benefit. So you're talking about some major increases in your household income. Now, albeit the Chapter 35 is temporary, but it's a nice buffer for a few years, can help you knock out some debt and what have you. So I'm going to talk about here several different ways in which you can get over that hump and get to that 100%. The first thing you have to realize, now stick with me here. I know people drop off videos. I mean, we all have the attention of a gnat anymore, and everybody has what I call a fast food mentality. I want it now, and I want to move on. Look, some things take a little bit longer to get through. I know that I'm not the quickest one out there in getting it all out, but I like to set it up in a certain way, and you may get it right away, but somebody else has to kind of hear some of these other pieces along the way. So, number one, the first thing you have to realize is 100% is not necessarily 100%. You can be at 95% and the VA will round you to 100. So with the VA funny math in play, it's important to understand where you are before you figure out where you're going, if that makes sense. So you could potentially be at an 85% raw score there, raw percentage of disability, 85, and the VA will round you to 90. Your path to 100, or 95 really, your path to 95 is going to be a much longer path, potentially, than somebody who's rated 94% disability raw score because they just need to get to 95. So they can, you could push out a 10% for something and end up getting over the hump and get to the 95, which then gets rounded to the 100. So again, the number one first thing is, again, know where you are at. You need to know where you are. So you need to look at all of your conditions, and this is what I would do, okay? If I had to sit here and do it all again, I would write down each one of my conditions and the percentage next to it. Then what I would do is I would figure out what my total score is, whatever, you get it, the total disability rating, what my raw number is. There's apps out there that will help you do the calculations. So try to find that, VA disability rating percentage app or what have you. Then you're going to come up with your raw score. Maybe it's 89%, maybe it's 93%, 94, 85, whatever it is. And now you know where you're at and how far you need to go. That's the number one piece. The number two piece is, of all of your conditions that you're rated for, you need to figure out, okay, well, what are the criteria for that rating, and do I warrant a higher rating? So you have to do a little footwork. Look, nobody likes to do work. Nobody likes to figure it out and dig through it and spend time researching and all that. It's not fun. It's irritating. But the payoff in the end will be worth it. I promise you that. So if you put a little elbow grease into this, look at the schedule of ratings, find your condition. When you find your, and now it's not that hard, but you should be able to Google search VA rating schedule. You'll find the schedule of ratings. Okay. Then you'll go through them, and there's a bunch of different books. They'll have neurological, they'll have musculoskeletal, mental health, and so on. Whatever category your condition would be under, you would open up that book of the schedule of ratings, which is typically a Word document, and then you would find your condition. Find your condition. Now, a cheat to this is you could just Google your condition VA rating schedule, and a bunch of different lawyer firms are going to have it pulled out of the VA's rating schedules and on their websites to share with you what it takes to get to whatever rating. So you might be able to read it there. The only risk is that you may risk that they have old information from prior. But I think that they're mostly up to date. So you should be okay. Now, you're going to figure it out. You're going to read, okay, I have this condition and I'm rated at 10% for migraines, for example. I read the 10% for migraines. Yes, I meet all that criteria, so I'm good to go. Let me read the 30% rating for migraines. And you read through it and you go, oh, you know what? I think I meet all of that, so I should be at 30%. Make yourself a little note that you're going to end up filing an increase for migraines. Now you're going to have to go to your doctor again, meet with them, make sure that they put some information in your records. It might be smart to have them fill out a DBQ, a disability questionnaire. It's a VA form regarding migraines. Fill that out and insert the information from your schedule of ratings for that 30% rating to get the verbiage in there. You're going to want to remember that information from the schedule of ratings to take with you to your C&P exam, right? So this is one way. The first step, you should look and make sure that you have the appropriate rating. You do this through all of your ratings. Make sure that you have the appropriate rating assigned. Anything that you feel as though you should be the higher rating, you need to go to your doctor and start working on developing more evidence so you could file for that increase. Or an appeal if it's been within 1 year of that last decision, right? So that is the number 1 and 2 steps, right? Number 1 is figuring out where you are, so you know. Number 2 is decipher whether or not you should be filing for increases on any of those conditions. Next, you're going to want to go through and look at any secondary conditions that you could possibly file for that you can relate to your current service-connected conditions. Even a 0% service-connected condition can have potentially substantial secondary condition ratings. So very important. Don't miss out on that opportunity. In addition, sometimes people get denied and they leave it alone. Go back and revisit the claims that you filed that you were denied for. Looking back at these and deciding whether or not you should take another swing at it might be advantageous. You just may need to go back to the doctor and work on developing a little more evidence with your doctor and file that claim again. And again, you're either going to file it as a new claim, or if it's been within a year, you're going to file an appeal to be able to get that to overturn. So there's a few different ways right now in which you can work to get your claim lifted up into a higher rating. The next would be a new service-connected condition that maybe you missed out on, you never filed for, you didn't think it was going to pay out, or whatever, right? It's small. And this is the group of veterans that fall into the bracket of, I'm just going to, whether it was their own idea or they were listening to somebody else, I'm just going to go after the high-value claims. Wrong move, in my opinion. Go after everything that you deserve. Because sometimes those few extra small 10% claims will help you get over that hump when it comes to the end. Because I'll tell you, I'd much rather file 2 10% ratings that I needed and get 2 more 10s and have my 93 turn into a 95 and then roll to 100. Very important. So go back, revisit any claims that you may not have ever filed for that would be service connected. Another one in that realm would be presumptives based on the new presumptive list for sure in the PACT Act. There's also a couple other, if you've recently discharged from the military, you do have a 1-year time frame from your discharge in which the VA will consider many disease type conditions, not injuries, but other illnesses and so forth. They will consider those presumptive. So you do have that 1-year window, which you may want to take advantage of if you have not, with regard to being exited from the military within that 1-year period. So there are a few ways in which you can attack your 90% rating and help take you over that hump to the 95, which then rounds to 100. So you may be closer than you think. You could have a 94, right? And all you need is a 10% to help push you over the hump there. So with that, we'll go ahead and conclude it. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.